Alabama court ruled frozen embryos are children. Australia unveils plan for largest Navy buildup since World War II. Argentina's poverty levels hit a 20-year high. American man admits to killing tourist in Germany. South Korea jails former hero pastor for sexual abuse. TikTok faces EU scrutiny.
Hello, I'm Wade Lee. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It is Thursday, February 22nd, and here are your top stories. A ruling from the Alabama Supreme Court that frozen embryos are considered children and that a person could be held liable for accidentally destroying them has opened up a new front in the U.S. battle over reproductive medicine. A major hospital providing fertility services in the southern U.S. state has paused its in vitro fertilization services in the wake of the decision, over fears it could expose them to criminal prosecution. The University of Alabama at Birmingham Health System said it would continue retrieving eggs from women's ovaries.
There are new questions about the future of fertility treatments after Alabama's Supreme Court ruled frozen embryos are children.
But it said it would halt the next step in the IVF process, in which the eggs are fertilized with sperm before being implanted into the uterus. Medical experts and reproductive advocacy groups warned the ruling could have negative consequences for fertility treatments in Alabama and beyond. Conservative groups welcomed the ruling, arguing that even the tiniest embryo deserved legal protection. Experts say the ruling does not ban or restrict IVF and in fact. However, the decision may confuse whether some aspects of IVF are legal under Alabama law. If an embryo is considered a person, it could raise questions about how clinics are allowed to use and store them.
Australia on Tuesday announced plans to build its largest navy since World War II, allocating more than $35 billion for the defense project over the next 10 years, in a move analysts said pointed to heightened tensions with China in the Indo-Pacific. According to a government statement, the plan will see the Royal Australian Navy boost its fleet of major surface warship to 26 in total after an independent review led by a retired U.S. Navy admiral found the current and planned surface combat fleet is not appropriate for the strategic environment we face.
The plan to bolster the fleet includes 20 destroyers and frigates and 6 large optionally crewed surface vessels, LOSVs, that can operate with sailors aboard or independently as drones. Those surface vessels will join a fleet of nuclear-powered submarines Australia plans to build under the EU-UK-US Pact with the United States and the United Kingdom, the first 3 of which are expected to be delivered early next decade. The independent review noted Australia had the oldest fleet Navy has operated in its history. And analysts said the security environment in the region, where rival China has built up the world's largest navy and is asserting its territorial claims in disputed waters, meant Australia had to act.
According to a study of the Catholic University of Argentina, poverty levels skyrocketed to 57.4% of Argentina's 46 million people in January, the highest rate in 20 years. The findings quickly unleashed accusations between Argentina's former vice president, Cristina Fernández de Kirchner, and the government of President Javier Milei, who came to power announcing a series of shock measures aimed at tackling the country's severe crisis. About 27 million people in Argentina are poor, and 15% of those are mired in destitution, meaning they cannot adequately cover their food needs.
According to the center's latest report, the increase in poverty levels in January was partly due to the devaluation of the Argentine peso applied by the Milei government shortly after taking office on December 10. This resulted in an increase in the price of the country's basic basket, which includes food, services, and non-food goods, and the basic food basket. The study concluded that working or middle-class households that do not receive benefits through social programs experienced the greatest impact. Eduardo Danza, a researcher with the Social Debt Observatory, told the Associated Press that although inflation could slow in the coming weeks, the incidence of rising prices will continue to impact Argentinians and poverty would hit at least 60% of the population around March.
A U.S. man has confessed to raping and killing a fellow American tourist near Germany's famed castle last June. Troy Philip B. faces severe charges, including one count of murder over a 21-year-old woman's death and attempted murder of the victim's friend, a 22-year-old woman. The 31-year-old also admitted to sexually assaulting the 21-year-old and pushing both women off a ravine. He may be jailed for life if convicted. Lawyers denied the suspect acted with intent, telling the court that he acted spontaneously. Mr. Muller said his client was deeply ashamed of his actions and wanted to apologize to her family.
The two women met Troy Philip B. near the Marienburg Bridge, a popular viewpoint used by tourists to view the castle. He then led them to a hidden trail, on the pretext that the way to the bridge was difficult to navigate. Once in a secluded area, the man shoved the 21-year-old to the ground, raping and strangling her before the 22-year-old tried to stop him. He then pushed the 22-year-old into the 50 meters deep, 164 feet, ravine and continued assaulting her friend, strangling her with a belt and recording it. B then pushed the unconscious 21-year-old victim into the same ravine after some hikers came across the scene. Mountain rescuers were able to locate the women, but the 21-year-old woman died from her injuries in hospital. The 22-year-old suffered numerous injuries but survived.
South Korean pastor once hailed as a hero for helping North Korean defectors escape to safety has been jailed for sexually abusing minors. According to the Seoul Central District Court, Chun King-wong was sentenced to 5 years in prison last week for abusing 6 teenage victims between 2016 and 2023, all of whom are neither North Korean refugees or children of refugees. Chun was head of Christian aid organization Jirihana, which he claimed had helped more than 1,000 defectors reach Seoul since 1999. Chun was arrested and indicted last September for violating the Act on Sexual Protection of Children and Adolescents.
The judge also ordered Chun to complete an 80-hour sexual violence-related treatment program. He will also be restricted from employment for 5 years at organizations related to children and youth with disabilities. Refugees fleeing North Korea often make the perilous journey across the border into China before attempting to reach South Korea. China, a close ally of Pyongyang, doesn't consider North Korean defectors refugees, instead seeing them as illegal economic migrants. Under a border agreement with North Korea, it forcibly deports them. According to activists, once returned to North Korea, defectors face possible torture, sexual violence, hard labor, imprisonment in political or re-education camps, or even execution by the state.
The European Union said Monday it is investigating whether TikTok has broken the bloc's strict new digital rules for cleaning up social media and keeping internet users safe. The European Commission, the EU's executive branch, said it had opened formal proceedings to assess whether TikTok has breached the Digital Service Act, which took effect last year. The DSA is a sweeping set of regulations designed to keep internet users safe online, including requirements to make it easier to flag harmful or illegal content like hate speech, give users alternative to algorithmic recommendations, and ban ads targeted at children.
The Commission is focusing on whether TikTok is doing enough to curb systemic risks stemming from its design, including algorithmic systems that might stimulate behavioral addictions. It said measures including age verification tools to stop minors from finding inappropriate content might not be reasonable, proportionate, and effective. The company said in a statement that TikTok has pioneered features and settings to protect teens and keep under 13s off the platform, issues the whole industry is grappling with. We'll continue to work with experts and industry to keep young people on TikTok safe, and look forward to now having the opportunity to explain this work in detail to the Commission. The Commission is also investigating TikTok's privacy measures for minors, its transparency on advertisements, and whether it's giving researchers access to data.
The answer for yesterday was C, prospect. The prospect of becoming a father filled him with alarm. Now let's delve into the news of Argentina poverty level hit a 20-year high. Number 1, skyrocket. 剧增,猛涨猛升. Production has dropped while prices and unemployment have skyrocketed. Number 2, unleash. 发泄,突然释放,使爆发. The government's proposal unleashed a storm of protests in the press. Number 3, severe. 极为恶劣的,十分严重的. The party suffered severe losses during the last election. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section, and the correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's it for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Wade Lee, your host. I'll see you next time.